got everything intact, and I checked in my luggage. My arrival in Nigeria, I was standing and was waiting by the carousel just so that I could pick up my luggage, and then I was there for 1 hour and waiting for my luggage. I didn't know that my luggage already arrived, and it was one of the luggage that was moving around on the carousel. So after about 1 hour wait, I looked to my left and my right. Almost everybody had gone. I think there were just about 2 or 3 left. So I beckoned on the woman that was on my side, and I noticed she was really in tears. Madam, what happened? She said, her bag has just been torn and a lot of things stolen. So I said, well, I've also been waiting for my own. She said, you better go and check those, those luggages there. Maybe yours is one of them. And lo and behold, I went around there. Mine was one of them. By the time I got it, everything inside my luggage was gone. All the valuable things there were gone. To cut the long story short, we felt there was need for us to report the case, at least to the airline. It was in the night, about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. We went in to go and see the officer that was in charge. As soon as we got in there, the officer said, "Oh, so sorry, but you will have to go to our head office in somewhere in Victoria Island, to lodge a complaint." Okay. So the next day we went to the Victoria Island and we lodged a complaint, and that was it. And since that day, I'm talking a story of over 10 years ago, I didn't get a call, not even a call from that airline to talk to me about what happened to my luggage. Now, about a month after that trip, I had another opportunity to travel out of the country. This time around it was to US, and it was an official assignment. And I flew on, I will mention the airline this time around. I flew on a BA. I really didn't like BA. I usually go with Virgin Atlantic and things like that. But my protocol officer convinced me and said, "Okay, you will love BA. Why don't you go on BA?" Anyway, so I went on BA to US. And of course, on our return from US to Nigeria, we had to do, of course, there'll be like a connecting flight, from Heathrow. So we got into London Heathrow, and then because it was through Heathrow that we went, and then so they changed since it was BA, they changed the aircraft this time around to a bigger one. I mean, clearly because there were more Nigerians, or more people that were planning to come to Nigeria, and then we boarded. Not quite 10 minutes into the flight, in the air, the aircraft started malfunctioning. The air conditioning compartment were not functioning very well. I was on what you call business economy. The whole of that business economy, all the way to economy side, the ACs were not working well. It was hot. And then I was watching. And then from that moment till we got to Nigeria. From that moment till we got to, I'm just trying to paraphrase. From that moment till we got to Nigeria, I could remember very well how many times the pilot, broke into conversation and had to apologize and say, "We're really very sorry about this." He was giving us almost every 30 minutes. There's always a kind of update. "So sorry, this is what we're doing now, this is what we're doing." While we were on that journey, I also remember an incident. So they came, the crew apparently couldn't resolve they couldn't manage the crisis or what was going on about it. They couldn't fix it. So they came up and said, "We're so sorry, but for all the inconvenience, we're declaring, free lunch, free whatever it is you want, you can get." So trust Nigerians, you need to hear how everybody was jubilating, But something struck me. The experience I had just about a month before, and this experience, somehow I started comparing them. I was trying to see how this matter will be managed. Again, to cut the story short, we landed in Nigeria on a BA. Before we landed, the pilot announced and said that for the inconvenient, they will be giving a voucher of £50 to everyone that flew on that aircraft. I thought it was a joke. I mean, it was my first time with BA, but for what I knew or know of the British man would never even play with his 1 penny, talking of £1. So I felt that must be a joke of the year. So we left. I got back to my office. I think it was just about a week after. My officer, our guys in our mail room came up and said, "Oh, you have a parcel." So I said, "Parcel? Yeah." So they bought this parcel wrapped. I opened it, and boom, I bought the document out. It was the £50 voucher from BA. So what's the tenor of this story? An experience with one airline was terrible, no apology. An experience with another one, even though it was a bad experience, but it was very well managed. So managed that even if we have suffered anything in that aircraft, you probably, for the sake of how they manage it, will have forgiven them. So that was how this journey started. So I started thinking in my mind, this is what we go through in this country. But are we different from other nations? So God put in my heart the idea of ConsumerHalla. That's why the Halla came with consumer. And we started that journey about 10 years ago. We started by creating a platform called ConsumerHalla, where consumers, so I discovered that Nigerian consumers don't have a voice. So things happen, and that's it. We live with everything. So we've started the journey from creating the platform. We have an app, we even have a magazine, and we thought we could move it from that to the next stage, which is the television. So the TV today, has come. So I would say precept by precept, line upon line, we have been able to build on our aspiration, to finally bring to birth this unique and exciting platform, So it's a digital telecast, and our goal is to further connect consumers in Nigeria to brands with insightful news, development within the fast-paced world of consumers. The world of consumers is growing at a very fast pace, So we want to inform Nigerians. We want to get them educated about their rights, So our role is that we're going to educate consumers in Nigeria, all right? So by bringing them specialized and what you call analytical, research-based content generation that will inform, educate, sensitize the audience, So that's ConsumerHallaTV. So I call it an offshoot of our ConsumerHalla brand. ConsumerHalla brand actually was the first we call it the first complaint or consumer complaint resolution portal. When we started it about 10 years ago, or about 7 years ago, it became the first complaint resolution portal. We created it so that Nigerians can actually lodge complaint on that portal. We spent a lot of resources to build a very robust platform where today, if you have any complaint, about any brand, any leading brands in Nigeria, and you go on that platform, you can actually click, just a click, you can find the brand, you can actually lodge your complaint, and once you submit it, that complaint will be routed to that organization, and within 72 hours, we will obtain feedback for you. We build it in such a way that we have connection to almost all the organizations, and it's been working. We've resolved several complaints for people without having to charge them any penny, because the idea is not to charge. So what we have done with ConsumerHallaTV is to take it to the next level. So we hope to change the narrative. We want to give the right direction. Nigeria has the largest consumer market in the world, with a population of over 220 million people. Why should we be the one that is suffering the most? Everywhere you turn to, it's as though Nigerian consumers don't have a voice. You're traveling, you buy a ticket. For whatever reason, an airline will wake up middle of the night, delay the flight for whatever reason, and then you'll be waiting at the airport for hours. You'll be there for 2 hours, 3 hours, no any explanation. Then while you're there, they can even wake up and say, oh, flight has been cancelled. So everybody carry their luggage and go home. Nothing happened. Of course, things are changing. We must commend government, because government is beginning to wake up, but there's still a lot to be done. And we believe that we can help to make, bring about those right changes. So we offer deliberately, part of what we do is that we also offer advocacy. All right. We're not just an advocacy organization, but we offer advocacy. We have a legal team. We have lawyers that are registered on our platform, all right, that can also take up cases. Okay. So, and we've taken up many cases like that, and won those cases. So ConsumerHalla is a platform to help consumers we're not fighting brands, but rather we say we're bringing about an amicable, resolution of conflict, such that it will be beneficial to the consumers and also be beneficial to the brand. I remember the word of Jeff Bezos. Bezos is the founder of Amazon. He said that the most important single thing, all right, for an organization is to focus obsessively, use the word obsessively, on the customer. We often say that customers is a king. They should sit at the top of the ladder. In our environment, customers are the ladder. A brand wakes up today, decide what product to produce. They wake up today, decide how much the consumer should pay. They wake up to decide everything for consumers. So consumers are just at the receiving end, and yet they are milking the consumers. There's no price regulation in this country, none. People just wake up and fix prices. Look at power. Government wakes up, we change policy, we wake up and we get people to pay more. We think it's time for consumers to begin to speak out. In speaking out, in engaging, we can get the brand to begin to do what is right. And of course, I know that the consumers themselves need to be educated. So our role, our vision also is to ensure that we educate consumers, we bring awareness. A lot of Nigerian consumers don't even know about their rights. You buy a product from a supermarket. I've had this experience. You buy a product from a supermarket, all right? For whatever reason, you take that product back to your house, and maybe something went wrong somewhere. By the time you take that product back to the shop where you bought it from, and you say, okay, this thing, you know what's going to tell you? Okay, now me make them. Let me make them now. That's why I buy them. Meaning that there's nothing I can do to the product. So you lose the product, then you lose your money, because the money is not refunded. The product you can't use only in Nigeria. Only in Nigeria. Let me give you another experience I had. In the course of this, because I went around, in doing this, I was in US, I was in UK, I was in South Africa, I was in Germany, just because of this, to just study the environment. You know, I was in a friend's house in UK, in London, and then what happened? We were going to go out, and he was going to dress up. So he said, oh, to me, I was seated in his sitting room. So he said, oh, wait a minute, I picked up an iron, that's the pressing iron, 2 days ago or so from a store. Oh, let me try this, let me just try and use that to iron my shirt and we can go out. So I was seated, the TV was on, I was watching. While I watched him, he brought out the pressing board, spread it out, brought the iron out in my presence, plugged in the iron, and then as soon as he switched on the power button, we just had a spark. Boom! He goes, what just happened? So he said, no, these guys are in trouble, they're in soup. I was thinking, what are you going to do? I was trying to compare that experience to what would have happened in Nigeria. In my presence there, he opened the pack. There was a card inside it. Inside that card was a call, number to call. And he called the shop or wherever he got the thing from. I was hearing the conversation that was going on. And all he said to them on the phone was, look, by the time he even called, clearly because they already, through the call, they could trace where he was calling from and who was calling. He said, yeah, I picked up this number, I picked up this iron yesterday, and guess what? I just plugged it to power, and then the thing just, stopped, didn't work. At the other hand, I could hear the voice, oh, we're so sorry. We're sorry about that. And they said, this is your address, yeah. Don't worry, we'll get you a replacement. All right. So my friend ended the call and dropped the. So I said, so what's going to happen? He said, don't worry yourself now. Shebi, we're here. They will bring a replacement. I said, they will bring a replacement. He said, yes. I said, they won't even try to check whether it was your fault, because it could have been your fault. Maybe you didn't do something well about the.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on the Midday News. I am Ire Ayomikunle Ike. The Dangote Industries has appointed the Chief Executive Officer of MTN Group, Ralph Mupita, to the board of Dangote Fertilizer Limited. This is as the conglomerate accelerates plans to expand the business and list it to the Nigerian exchange. The response to inquiries from Bloomberg. The move, they say, is widely seen as a strategic step ahead of the company's proposed initial public offering, which is expected to take place later this year. The Dangote Fertilizer is one of Africa's largest industrial projects and also is a core part of billionaire Aliko Dangote's push to deepen the continent's agricultural value chain while positioning the group to attract long-term institutional capital. The landing cost of imported premium motor spirit petrol is now lower than the gantry price of the commodity from the Dangote refinery following the refinery's decision to hike prices. Data from the Major Energies Marketers Association of Nigeria show that the landing cost of imported petrol was 720 naira per litre as of last week. However, on Monday this week, the Dangote refinery announced an increase in its price of petrol from 699 naira to 799 naira per litre. The new price increase means the Dangote price is about 17 naira higher than the landing cost of imported PMS. And now, as a result of the new price rise, the refinery said MRS filling stations would now sell petrol at 839 naira per litre. The checks by newsmen yesterday confirmed that MRS filling stations had raised their prices from 739 on Monday to 839 following the announcement by the 650,000 barrels per day Lekki refinery. Nigeria project year, which could severely assess the credit of the private sector. According to the 2026 to 2028 medium-term expenditure framework, the federal government planned to finance 14.30 trillion naira, about 71.1% of the total deficit through domestic borrowing. Analysts say this level of borrowing may be technically feasible, but could trigger sustained high interest rate. Also talking on the news, the financial expert who spoke to newsmen expressed concerns about the implications of crowding out organized private sector in Nigeria's debt market. It was announced that the essential power sector debt reduction program has recorded 100% subscription from investors. Yesterday, by the special advisor to the president on energy, Oluvejan. According to the statement, the bond issuance, which forms part of efforts to address the long-standing debts in the power sector, attracted participation from pension funds, banks, asset managers, and other investors. The government said the program is aimed at resolving legacy payment arrears owed to power generation companies, restoring non-environmental standard regulations. Enforcement agency says Nigeria consumers consume over 2.5 billion liters of sachet water annually, produced by more than 32,000 manufacturers across the country. Prof. Innocent Bariko, the Director General of NESREA, stated this at the exemption meeting of the Child Project GEF 11193 yesterday in Abuja, where he said the project is a circular solution to plastic pollution in Nigeria, and it's also aimed at reducing plastic sachet water consumption while ensuring access to safe drinking water. The Prof said the meeting marked a significant milestone in Nigeria's ongoing efforts to address the growing challenge of plastic pollution in the country. Another report from announced a partnership with MTN Nigeria for the redevelopment and renaming of Obalende on the bridge of Yellow Bus Park. In a statement posted on X yesterday, the Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Mr. Tokunbo Ohab, said the move will transform the space to a functional hub. The Commissioner said, "I'm pleased to announce that the Lagos State government is collaborating with MTN Nigeria to redevelop and transform the Obalende underbridge into a modern, well-structured transport hub to be known as Yellow Bus Park." The Commissioner for the said the redevelopment will convert what was once a notorious and degraded space into a functional, secure, and community-centered facility. While delivering his remarks, the Commissioner said when completed, the new bus park is expected to feature an organized and regulated transport terminal, a recycling drop-off station, a road camp for lawman sweepers and security agencies, with over 60 public toilet fixtures, kiosks, and other essentials amenities designed to serve commuters and residents alike. The Nigerian National Grid has listed several solutions to the constant collapse of the power system. The grid collapses have been attributed to a combination of technical fault, inadequate maintenance of transmission lines, and fluctuations in generation capacity. The grid recorded its second disturbance in 2026 yesterday, which is barely 4 days after the first occurrence and weeks after a similar incident on December 29, 2025, which had caused widespread power outages across the country. Report says as of the time filing this report, data showed 0 megawatt of power supply to the 11 electricity distribution companies. Meanwhile, the electricity generation dropped sharply from over 4,500 megawatts to as low as 0 megawatt as of 11 a.m. yesterday morning. And checks showed that only 23 power generation plants connected to the grid reportedly lost output during the incident, resulting in 0 power allocation to each of the 11 electricity distribution companies. Justice Emmanuel Subilim of the National Industrial Court has ordered workers of the Federal Capital Territory Administration to suspend their ongoing industrial action pending the airing and the termination of the originating summons. The ruling followed an application filed by the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, seeking a court order compelling striking of the FCTA workers to return to work. And the suit, the FCT Minister named the President and the Secretary of the Joint Union Action Congress as respondents. Justice Subilim held industrial action, including strikes, must be suspended once a dispute has been referred to the National Industrial Court. And back in Lagos State, where the Ikeja Hotel PLC delivered a strong earning performance in the 2025 financial year, posting a profit before tax of 12 billion naira, a 47.3% increase from 8 billion naira recorded in 2024. This marks a sustained improvement in profitability supported by stronger retail revenue, rising finance income, and the elimination of finance costs. The performance, however, was disclosed in the company's unaudited financial statement filed with the Nigerian Exchange on the 27th of January 2026. The earnings momentum also reflects improved from occupancy, higher pricing, and stronger event-related activities across the group hotel portfolio. The merger and acquisition activity in African startups surged in 2025 with 67 deals recorded, and this represents a 72% increase from the 39 deals seen in 2024. And this also stands as the highest annual total ever. This latest update was made known by the State of Tech in Africa. And the report notes that African startup raised $3.4 billion in 2000 billion dollars. According to the report, established players are aggressively buying other startups to grow, get licenses, and take more off the market. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon on the Midday News, and we end the news. I am Ire Ayomikunle, AK. Good afternoon and stay productive for the rest of the day.
Consumers, welcome to Tejo Show Market, one of Lagos' most vibrant and bustling markets, here located in Yaba. This market is a destination for thriftwares. Entrepreneurs are like, you know what, come with me, let's go find out and uncover the secrets happening here in Tejo Show Thrift Market. Come with me, let's go find out.
Lagos, a city that reinvents itself every single day. A city where style is not always about luxury, but about survival, creativity, and expression. Here in Yaba, one of Lagos' oldest commercial districts, lies the market that has clothed generations, shaped trends, and given fashion a second life. Welcome to Tejo Show Market, and within it, the bustling world of thrift clothing. Tejo Show is not just a market, it is a history standing on a concrete. Long before shopping malls and branded stores took over Lagos, Tejo Show existed as a traditional market serving the people of Yaba and its surrounding. It was a place of food, fabrics, trade, and daily interaction, a social and economic lifeline. Over the years, Tejo Show witnessed transformation, fire incident, demolition, redevelopment, from an open informal marketplace to a structured complex. Tejo Show evolved, yet its spirit remained unchanged. Trade adapted, traders adjusted, and commerce continued. Within this evolution emerged a section that speaks directly to the soul of Lagos, the thrift clothing market, popularly called Okrika. Second-hand clothes, yes, but second-hand dreams, no. Yeah, clothes arrive from across the world. For many traders, this market is more than business. It is survival, cause rent, school fees, feeding, family responsibilities. Tejosho thrift section support thousands. Traders, loaders, tailors, transporters, resellers. What some discard, others transform into income. Let's listen to what traders that sells in here have to say.
Good morning, my sister.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, so for how long have you been? What is your name?
My name is Chibuzo Okafor.
For how long have you been selling in Tejosho Market?
Tejosho Market, I've been there almost 5 years now.
5 years.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, walk us through the journey of how you started this business.
Huh?
Walk us through how you start this business.
Of course, almost 50,000. Starts 50,000 from start. Small. They grow small till now. Yes.
And so you start then 5 years ago with 50,000
Yes.
till now.
Yes.
So what can be the challenges where you face for say this business where you sell?
Well, I know too much challenges, but now small. You know that Nigeria big, but small. They push up small. Gradually, everything they move small.
Okay, so this market now, which time you take the open, which time you take the close?
Okay, they open like 7 o'clock, close 6:30 to 7.
So you get some specific day where we say markets, nine be market day.
Yes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's the main markets.
Main market. Okay, so where you take they buy this your clothes from?
Well, sometimes I they buy here, sometimes I they go super, go buy.
So what will be the challenge where they take the transport the market come here?
No, it's motor, no be transport. Enter motor, go and come back. That's all.
So how you take, say this type business now, will they get gain, will they get loss? How you take they manage harm inside each other?
They get what?
Will they get gain, will they get loss sometimes?
Sometimes business is business. If you gain a loss, that's it. No go say make you gain. Without no loss, you go loss, you go gain. That's business for you.
So how you can't take they manage both of them together?
But anyhow, if I manage gain, I manage loss. That's all that's be. Life will continue.
So how your customers, how you take they see your customers? Say no be only you they sell this type particular market. So